to episode 15 of the Endgame series. Guys, we have 6 more episodes left in the Endgame series. It is crazy to believe that. 6 more. And thank you guys for watching the previous episode, which was Doctor Strange with Chandler Langley. It's very well appreciated. And now we are on to another sequel. We're getting to a bunch of sequels now in the MCU. And this sequel is a surprising sequel. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2, directed once again by James Gunn, starring the same Guardians who you all know and love. And you have some new additions to the cast. You got Kurt Russell as Ego the Living Planet. Elizabeth Debicki is the leader of the Sovereigns. Sylvester Stallone is in this movie. And so many other cast members as well. And guys, I don't even have to introduce my special guest. You all know who this guy is. You clicked on the thumbnail. And he's an awesome movie reviewer. And many people ask me how long have I known this guy. I've known him for a while. I mean, I invited him to be on Rotten or Fresh, and he won Rotten or Fresh. He's a champion, and he's Deadpool, calls himself Deadpool. You all know who this guy is, Zach Pope. Zach, welcome to the Endgame series, man. How are you doing?
We are officially in the Endgame, my friend. We are so close to Avengers Endgame, and I'm just like anxious, trying not to pee my pants every single time I think about like that my childhood is ending in just like 3 or 4 weeks. It makes me really depressed, but I'm super excited to be here to talk and defend Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2 because I really like this film. And as you were mentioning, everyone, I forgot Elizabeth Debicki was in this film, and I flippin' love her.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. Thanks for having me, man. I'm glad I got to talk about Guardians because they're like, I love Guardians of the Galaxy, like just in general, like the whole series and all the characters and the comics and everything.
We want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts and opinions on Guardians Vol. 2? It's a very divisive film in the MCU. Do you love it, think it's okay, or do you absolutely hate it? And we're not doing a review, guys. We're doing an in-depth discussion and answering questions. I'm going to ask Zach questions and we'll answer along. So let's get right into Guardians, Zach. So I know that the first Guardians of the Galaxy is your favorite MCU movie. You love the Guardians. And so, Zach, just talk about your experience with Guardians 2. When did you first see it? Did you see it opening night or an early screening? Give us your early experiences.
I went to this film opening night. And the first time I went and saw the first one, I only had like 2 people go with me because no one wanted to see the damn movie. Second film, everyone went with me. Anyone who loved Guardians wanted to see the second one opening night. So it was like probably like 6 or 8 of us who went to the theaters. I bought out the tickets, bought out middle row seats so we just go sit down and enjoy the shit out of Guardians 2. First initial thoughts and responses to it, we all loved it. I still like love aspects of this film. I still really like this film. It's not as good as the first one though. The first one is honestly a masterpiece of just sci-fi and space opera films and just comic book nerdiness and geekness. And the second one continued that. But I had cons to it. I actually would say this is that I think the soundtrack for the new one, I don't think it's better, but I think it was more emotional for the story this time around. But yeah, saw it opening night, saw it like 5 or 6 more times.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, that was like the biggest surprise. I think everybody can agree with that. A talking raccoon, a talking tree. How could this work? And it absolutely worked. And then going into Guardians Vol. 2, this was my 3rd most anticipated film that year because it was right behind Last Jedi and War for the Planet of the Apes. But still, I was super excited for Guardians 2. I saw it opening night, IMAX 3D, sold-out theater with my buddy Cedric and my stepdad Kevin. We all saw this movie together, and it was a fantastic experience. I really loved it the first time. In my original review, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, but then constant rewatches, it's not a 4.5. It's definitely a 4 or a 3.5. I think it's a lot of fun. Not as good as the first one, but it's an enjoyable, fun ride. I did have issues with it, though.
I think people who hate this film are crazy. Like, I get it. Like, some people don't like the mean-spirited and stuff, but that's it. This feels more like a James Gunn film compared to the first one, and I think one of the big parts, the only really big con I hate is I hate how they split up the whole group and the different individuals. And even though each of them pretty much get an arc besides Drax and Mantis, I still wish that they were all together because that's what the first film built them up to be, was to be all together. Felt like a TV show in a sense, like every single person had a story. And that was like my biggest con with the film, but it doesn't mean it's not fun. Like, this is still a fun fantastic flippin' movie.
And that was my second question, Zach, is why was this movie so divisive? Can you see where both sides are coming from?
Yeah, I can. I think here's the thing: the MCU does not have a trash pile of shit. Like that. That is the truth. That's either just fine to greatness to amazingness, and I think Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 lands in goodness. It's not a bad film. It's actually a very well-made film, probably the most beautiful looking film overall out of all the MCU films. Like the special effects in this film are blown away. Everything on Ego's planet is insane. I think Kurt Russell's an excellent like antagonist / protagonist with Star-Lord, and I love the development and the relationship that goes. It is a dark film, and it gets really mean-spirited at times with the characters, and I think Drax is kind of the joke, and I'm tired of seeing him as just a joke, but I think that Dave Bautista still works as that character. I just think people didn't like how much they took with Drax, and I get that perspective, but I didn't really care that much. The same thing goes for the mean-spiritedness. I don't care that much. It was still fun to see that. Yeah, it was a little depressing to see Baby Groot in peril with all these douchebags, but still, he got his revenge. And I think overall, this film really pushed everyone's character forward. And that's what I wanted them to do, this is a more focused down character piece for each character. And even though they shouldn't have done that, maybe they should have teamed them up a little bit more. I get what people hate, but I also just love it still.
Drax does have funny lines. He just wish they balanced his character with the badass Drax and the funny Drax. But I didn't really like Mantis as well in this one, but she was better in Infinity War.
Oh, I thought I agree with you. She got more to do in Infinity War.
She was better in Infinity War.
But I did like her in this.
Yeah, I also liked Ego. I like the new aspects about this film. Definitely, I think why fans were turned off by Volume 2 because they were expecting to see Volume 1 again, how great it was. But it was a very different movie compared to the first one. It was a James Gunn movie. I completely agree with you. He got a lot more things he wanted to do than he did with the first one. I think Kevin Feige was just like, all right, James Gunn, we trust you. Make your movie. And that's what Guardians 2 was. It was a James Gunn movie from start to finish. And that's what turned people off for sure. What aspect of this film did you think it was better than the original? And did James Gunn pull it off?
I actually think the action is better in this film. I think the action, the special effects, and I might have laughed a little bit more in this one too. I think overall, like those are the main things, and really getting down that father-son story was one of the most emotional parts of the film. And I think that's something that the first one was kind of missing. It didn't have that deep dive into an emotional story. And I think the second one really touched on that more. And I think the soundtrack actually elevated that as well. I also have to say the Stan Lee cameo in here was 10 times better than the first one. Yeah, he's kind of this playboy man who's picking up on aliens in the first one, but let me tell you, the second one, he is the Watcher, and I love that James Gunn did that. And really, I think this one did its purpose. It was kind of like the Iron Man 2 of the Guardians saga, just done better. It furthered out the cosmic universe a lot. Might have wasted Stallone, but I'm still actually hoping, especially since James Gunn's coming back for Guardians 3, is that that has a purpose. And I think because for people who don't know, that team at the end of the film with Stallone, that is the original Guardians of the Galaxy team in the comics. Besides Yondu, because Yondu died, but that was the original concept. Those are the original characters, and I love all those characters. They're actually pretty big actors playing those characters. So I actually do hope that they focus more on that. Ving Rhames, Miley Cyrus is in there.
Miley Cyrus.
Michelle
Yeoh, I think.
Yeah, and it just worked. And I want more from those characters. And it furthered out the universe enough to where it wasn't bothersome and it didn't feel like it was in your face like Iron Man 2 was, but it also furthered down and got more emotional into the characters. And I think that's what the second one did better than most sequels do, and even the first one did.
What it does better than the first one for sure is the visual worlds, the new worlds we get introduced to. James Gunn's direction as well, he got a lot more to do. He told the story he's always been wanting to tell with the Guardians, and I think the character development with some of the characters was better, especially Rocket. Rocket got so much depth in this film. Yondu had so much development. Yondu was fantastic, as well as Nebula, and I really like the sister dynamics.
Yeah,
with Nebula and Gamora.
And I'm actually curious to see how Rocket's character progresses into Endgame. And Nebula too. I mean, they're the last two remaining ones from that saga, so pretty curious about that.
Just his scenes with Yondu in this movie almost brought me to tears. Just talking in their backstory, and Yondu's just like, you're just a mean raccoon. Like, that's just really good development.
I mean, he is.
Yeah, that's what he is. That's what Rocket is. And that's his personality. But yeah, Zach, who is your favorite character amongst the Guardians in this film?
Man, that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that one. Shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rank them. Here's the thing. I'm gonna rank them. So, Mantis, Drax. Okay, that's even hard to rank them. Okay, so personally, probably my favorite's Rocket Raccoon. Like, hands down, probably Rocket Raccoon is probably my favorite. Star-Lord's pretty damn close, though. Groot's cute, but really just Rocket. Like, if I was a Guardians member, I would probably end up being Rocket, just for his sarcasm, the way that he is, the way he plays off, his emotional depth. And I find myself always being, like, in the film especially, I always wanted them to go to more of Rocket and Groot and Yondu's part of the story than anyone else's. I thought they were the most entertaining of them all.
Out of the Guardians, my favorite is Drax. Drax was so good in the first one, and I love all of the jokes Drax says a lot. Ha ha ha! I have famously huge turds. Like, he has some funny lines.
They're funny.
Yeah, it just I like some of the back and forth with the banana joke. It's not ripe. Yeah. Yeah, Nebula gets a lot of good moments too. But yeah, I think my favorite character in the film was definitely Yondu. Yondu gets a lot of development. It's so sad what happens to Yondu throughout this entire film. You know, being the leader of the Ravagers, and then Stallone just basically saying to him, the hordes will never blow when you die, Yondu. That's definitely foreshadowing his death. But yeah, Yondu was definitely my favorite. But we'll talk a little bit more about Yondu in this next question. What is your favorite scene? If you could just pick one scene, what's your favorite?
Yondu's whistle. Either Yondu blowing the whistle or his little arrow and shooting everyone. I have like three. So that one, the other one was when Rocket's killing everyone in the forest. That was great. The song that played towards it was even better. And the third one was when fucking Star-Lord turned into fucking Pac-Man and just wanga 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 and just fucked shit up, man. I love all that stuff.
My second favorite scene in the film is the Yondu bow and arrow scene. That was an awesome scene. My favorite scene is the ending when Yondu dies. Like, that scene makes me cry.
We forgot to mention one. I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. I could say this right now. I think the film gets better and better. This is a very rare instance. Usually I think the third acts are the weakest in superhero films, but I think the third act is the best act in this film. Like, the first act is good. Second act, nah. And then third act is amazing. Like, everything on Ego's planet, that final battle was really creative. Led to a really great ending with Yondu and all that, saving Quill's life, and then Quill is basically Superman. He's half a god and all that. It was just really entertaining. And I just cry every time with this ending. Like, the music, the score and everything. And he's just like, he may have been your father, boy, but he wasn't your daddy. Oh,
yeah, it is great. It is great. And I actually had the chance to run into Michael Rooker when he was out here at Phoenix Comic-Con. So I ran into him, said, dude, thanks for being just fucking awesome, man. And listening to his Q&A was probably one of the most entertaining parts of the whole thing, because this little girl walks up and goes, can you say Mary Poppins, y'all? And he's like, let's say it together. Picks her up, and he's like, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all. Fucking just awesome. And a lot of that goes to James Gunn's script. I think he is one of the best script writers out there right now. And I am so happy he's on the project. I get why people didn't want him on it, but I am fucking ecstatic that he's on this property.
Let's talk about our least favorite scene, Zach. What's your least favorite scene? And I can kind of see where you're going.
Anything that Drax should have been killing people and wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, there were multiple scenes where he would just crack a joke, and I was just like, okay, kind of funny, but can you go kick some ass, please? He should have been more beneficial to the team. Honestly, though, the only scene I don't really like, I don't hate it. It's just with Elizabeth Debicki's character. There needed to be more. The thing is, and that's another thing, is that even though it was trying to expand the cosmic universe, they needed to touch on more certain things like that. Or even the acid trip scene with Rocket, Groot, and Yondu flying back super fast. I was like, okay, like it's not like I'm laughing. Yeah, I mean, like it's cool, but I just felt myself like fucking Willy Wonka type shit in there.
At least Stan Lee saved that scene.
Yeah. I love the Watchers, man.
Yeah. All those scenes you mentioned, Zach, are my least favorite. Zach, when Drax, the joke that's in all the trailers and all that. You just unveiled your deepest, darkest secret. You must be so embarrassed. Oh my god! Like
it's great.
That laugh is just like it's funny, but then it just gets like annoying.
It gets annoying, and like, and it's not Dave Bautista's fault. Like he is playing who is he given. He does an excellent job doing what he's given. I hope for the next Guardians he will be written a little bit. Not as like keep the comedic, it's fine, but make sure to make him a badass as well.
And that's what I loved about Infinity War. Like all of Drax's jokes hitting that film.
Oh, dude, for me, I actually got annoyed of him in Infinity War. I was like,
really?
I'm like, now he's joking around too much. He was my least favorite character in there. Still thought it was funny. It's just don't crack the fucking jokes. Nail some fucking hits. You know, like. I don't know. I want him to be Drax the Destroyer, not Drax the fucking stand-up comedian from Funny People.
Maybe Volume 3, they'll understand
assuming,
Drax will be awesome.
Yeah, if he even comes back. I mean, I'm sure he will with James Gunn coming back, but...
Yeah.
You know.
But any scene with the Sovereign, I hated. I didn't like the Sovereign at all. Why do they need to be in this movie? Because they got to set up Adam Warlock, pretty much.
They're cool characters, but... Again, it's like, why wouldn't you just set him up for the next film and then introduce Adam Warlock in that film? Like, if Adam Warlock's not going to play any part in Endgame, which I'm surprised they really didn't go that route. I actually think that James Gunn was kind of setting him in there just in case the writers decided to use Adam Warlock, because for people who don't know in the comics, Adam Warlock's a pretty big fucking part of this whole saga, but I would bet my left testicle he will not show up in Endgame.
So what are your thoughts on Ego? Let's touch up on Ego. Kurt Russell, really great casting. And we'll talk about Ego, Zach.
I think Ego's top 5 Marvel villains, to be honest. I think he layers out I mean, if you really think about it, there's not that many great ones. It's like Thanos, Killmonger, Vulture. I don't know, fucking Ego.
Ultron.
Ultron, yeah, I guess. Like I even think Hela's a little overrated from Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Yeah, I think
Hela's in my top 10.
I think Kate Blanchett nailed the role. I just didn't think there was enough emotional stuff to her. I love what Kurt Russell did. I think Kurt Russell played the role perfectly. I don't think anyone else could have played that role except maybe Mark Hamill. But I think Kurt Russell nailed the role to such a peak. And that's what sucks about reading the comics is I knew he was the villain. The whole time I was sitting there, I'm like, there's going to be a twist and he's going to betray them. There's going to be a twist.
I don't even read comics and I knew he was going to be the villain.
Yeah, it was just like, it felt really predictable in that part. But I loved Ego. I loved how Kurt Russell played him and it just really worked overall for the characters. The Sovereign. No. I love Elizabeth Debicki. And I think if you actually... The next Guardians, I'm assuming, will probably focus a little bit more on them. Because in honesty, they're not bad people. If you really think about it, they're not bad people. Rocket is the reason that they hate them.
Yeah.
Think about it. Like, they're not villains. Like, that's what's funny to me. Like, they are portrayed as villains, but because Rocket is being a dick, which I love, but he's the reason they're going after them. So
Ego's storyline, it's so interesting at first. There's like this great balance between that character when you're first introduced to him. And by the way, I mentioned this in Captain Marvel and everybody. Marvel, round of applause on the de-aging effects. Like, they're spectacular.
Fact about that. It's actually not de-aging. That's all makeup.
Really?
Yeah. When I was listening to James Gunn talk, they said the de-aging wasn't where he wanted it at. So they just did makeup effects, or they just did makeup and stuff.
So Captain Marvel, they did the de-aging, not
Captain Marvel is the de-aging, yeah. But Guardians, from what I understand, I mean, I could be fucking completely wrong, but I'm pretty sure I thought I saw an interview where they asked James Gunn about it, and he said the technology wasn't where he personally wanted it at, so they just put a lot of nice makeup on it and filmed it in a certain style.
Well, you look great. You look great.
He did.
but
I mean, Captain
I
Marvel
love.
fucking blew me away too.
Hell yeah. So Kurt Russell, great casting. I really believed in the father aspect throughout the entire film, but I obviously knew, yeah, he's definitely probably going to be the villain, and he was. And I loved how they revealed him as the villain at the end.
I put
broke the heart to put her tumor in. What? And then, Star-Lord just shoots him off like
my
that.
heart sank. And that's why, fuck you. Fuck you to anyone who blamed Star-Lord for the whole thing with Thanos. Fuck you. Because this is my thing. If my girlfriend, after losing my mom, my father, and now my girlfriend, I would probably have punched him in the fucking face too.
Let's talk about the end credit scenes. There were 5 end credit scenes in this film. Zach, did we need 5 of them? And what were your thoughts? What was your favorite one?
Well, no, we did not need 5 of them.
Yeah.
I honestly can't even remember all of them because they're not all. I mean, they're not all fucking memorable.
So we have Adam Warlock, Stallone in the original Guardians with Stan Lee's cameo,
the Stan Lee one,
Teenage Groot, and all that.
Oh yeah,
I'm not boring. You're boring. And what was the other one?
There's one more. It's not that important, I guess.
Yeah,
but that's actually hard because I actually like a majority of the Adam Warlock one. Kind of boring, to be honest. The Stallone team was fucking cool. Cool.
I know what the other one was.
What was it?
It was James Gunn's brother whistling and Drax. Ah!
Yeah, that was dumb too. I didn't like that one. See, it's not even that memorable. For me, my 2 would probably be either the Stallone one, and I know I already talked about the Stan Lee and the Watchers and stuff, but we already got a little of him in the movie, so I like that. But I really like that Groot scene. Of Teenage Groot.
That's my favorite too. Yeah.
I actually love that. And if you listen to it, or if you actually look at the timeline for Marvel, that actually is like a couple days before the whole Infinity War stuff happens. So they actually like expanded way in time, and I like that. But the Stallone stuff, again, I really just hope they emphasize a little bit more on that stuff later down the road in the Marvel universe. I don't want it to be like, oh, look at Abomination and the Incredible Hulk. He's somewhere in the world, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Stallone was a really interesting character. I really looking forward to seeing what they do with him in Volume 3 for sure. Like you said, the original Guardians and all that. But yeah, the Groot scene is definitely my favorite. Like, I am Groot. I'm not boring. You're boring.
It's just great.
And then the Stan Lee's cameo that, wait, where are you guys going? You were supposed to be my lift home.
Yeah. It's really cool. And like that scene like hits even harder home like after you pass.
Zach, where is Guardians 2 in your MCU ranking?
I actually have this pulled up on my phone. Let me look.
Oh,
I did a whole thing on Letterboxd. I've like been obsessed with Letterboxd. Like it's really fucking cool. Probably move this actually up a bit with us talking about it. It would probably be number either 12 or 13 right now, personally, because I love like really anything past 19 I start to love aspects of it. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I probably would put it at around 12 or 13, which would be above Iron Man 3, which underrated as fuck you if you don't like it, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, The Incredible Hulk, Thor the Dark World, Iron Man 2, and probably Avengers Age of Ultron as well. I'd probably put it above those and whatnot. And even Thor the Ragnarok. I'm sorry, Thor Ragnarok's very overrated. It's fun, but it just pisses me off sometimes when I watch it.
It's definitely around 12, 13. Let's see. I have Iron Man 2, Thor the Dark World, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 3, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel. 13 as of right now. I'll have to rewatch Thor Ragnarok to see where it is. I think Ragnarok's at 9 or 10 right now. So now let's talk about the final question, Zach. And this is the one you all been waiting for. And Zach, how will Guardians 2 affect the Endgame?
My theory right now, and this isn't because I know anything. I haven't fucking seen the film yet. My theory right now is they are going back through. There's going to be time travel involved, and they are going to go through a majority of the films. They are going to go through the original. Like, I think they'll actually hit the original Guardians. I think it'll end on the original Avengers. I think we'll go to the first Avenger for Captain America. I think we're going to hit a majority of the films. Guardians 2 is the one that I don't think we're going to hit, to say the least.
Yeah,
I think it's the one that they're not going to hit, but from a character point of view, I actually do think the sister relationship between Nebula and Gamora, Nebula will die in this one. I think Nebula will be the one that bites it, and Gamora actually.
Ooh, you don't think she'll wield the gauntlet like the comics?
I do, but I think she's gonna die. I still think she's gonna die. I think.
Do you think Gamora could come back?
Yeah, I actually think a majority of people will come back. I think Gamora will be. I honestly think the only two characters that are going to stay dead from Infinity War is Loki and Heimdall. Maybe even Vision. I don't know about Vision. I'm still kind of skeptical on the whole Vision
might
thing.
come back.
Vision's kind of the one I'm in the middle on. I feel like Gamora. I mean, if Gamora didn't come back, I think it would be great because it would further Star-Lord's story a little bit more for the next Guardians, but at the same time, if she does come back, it also furthers their relationship a little bit more. So I like the kind of like when I watch Walking Dead, when a character dies in there, I'm like, okay, what was the purpose of killing this character? Okay, it's going to further this person's story. It's going to further this person's story. Their story wasn't really going anywhere. Nebula is one of those characters where, okay, we got their sister bond back together in Guardians 2. She's going to wield the I think a couple characters actually wield the gauntlet. I'm calling Tony, I think her, and I think Captain Marvel too. I think them three are probably going to wield the gauntlets at one point in time, or their own version of the gauntlet. And I think
really hope it's Hulk. I really hope Hulk is one of the ones.
I have some stuff with Thor. I have some stuff with him too. But yeah, so I think that's going to introduce. I think Rocket does survive, but I think Rocket will be a very crucial member to these Avengers.
Exactly.
And can I just? I'm geeking out that they have his original costume from the comics, like in the from what it looks like on the poster. It looks like to be the actual comic iteration. And I just, my one thing is that I really hope Nebula and Rocket are like actually integrated. I know it'll mostly be about Cap, Iron Man, Black Widow, but please let them like be pretty focal characters into this, you know, like don't just be like, okay, you guys stay at the base. We're going to go fuck some shit up. I really hope they don't go in that route. But yeah, I think Nebula is going to bite it in Endgame. I think she will.
She's gonna bite the dust.
dun. But yeah, that's really the only thing I can actually see, because there's no Infinity Stones or anything in the second Guardians of the Galaxy.
I agree. There's nothing much in Guardians 2 that's gonna affect the Endgame. So pretty much everything you just said, man. In my previous Endgame episodes, I've speculated they are gonna use time travel. They're gonna go back in time and connect all the Infinity Stone pieces to make a new gauntlet. And they're going to go through all the movies. Like you said, they're going to go all the way back to Captain America, the First Avenger, and they're going to claim the Tesseract. And then they're going to go all the way back to Thor, the Dark World, and get the Ether. And then go all the way back to the first Guardians to get the Orb. And then go all the way back again to Doctor Strange to get the Time Stone, which is the most important Infinity Stone, in my opinion. They'll get the Soul Stone as well. And then they got to go back to that specific point in time where Vision dies and get the Mind Stone and all that. Nebula is going to wield it, just like in the comics. I think Captain Marvel as well. And I'd love to see Hulk wield the gauntlet as well, because I want to see Hulk get his revenge against Thanos. I think we all want to see that happen. I think we're all anticipating to see Cap and Tony reunite, how that's going to be, how awkward that's going to be.
I don't think it's going to be awkward. I think it's going to be like a sigh of relief.
Dude,
no, you have a good theory. And I think a lot of people are kind of expecting that same thing with the time travel. I'm going to be honest, though. I actually hope I'm wrong. I hope we're both wrong. I want it to be like a total left field thing where, like, I'm assuming they will go back in time to one of the films. Probably the first Avengers. And my theory in that is that they're going to go back to the first Avengers, and there's going to be duplicates of them. There's going to be 2 Iron Mans, 2 Thors, 2 Captain Americas, 2 Hawkeyes, and they're all going to be fighting. And I think that's actually where I think, you know, actually before we got on this, I was actually rewatching the first Avengers. You know how Tony goes up and he falls back down?
Mm-hmm.
What if this time he goes up and doesn't come back? What if that's how he dies in Endgame?
Oh my! That is. And
I was really sitting there and I'm like, that would be a good callback, because I think out of all the main heroes, Iron Man is still the one to die. I think Cap will not die. I think he's gonna go back and kind of just go live in his own time.
Yeah, I have a theory. for how I think. I'm on the same ballpark.
Yeah, I know people are probably like, you guys are supposed to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Fuck you, we're talking about Endgame still.
Okay, listen, guys, we don't think Guardians 2 is going to affect the Endgame, but here's how I think. I'm on the same ballpark. I think Tony's going to be the one to die and sacrifice himself for the whole team. What I think is going to happen is Tony is going to sacrifice himself, and I think Cap is going to be the one to try to stop him, because we know how they're going to have their thing in Civil War. That would break my heart in the theater if Cap is the one like, Tony, you can't do this. And then Tony's like, this is for the universe. This is for the end game. And then he he accidentally lets go of him and he's just like, no! Like that will be the most heartbreaking thing. And I will cry like a baby if that happens.
And you know how Pepper Potts supposed to be in this film, especially after seeing some of the posters. I'm assuming I actually think, since my prediction is Endgame's taking place pretty like 5 years later on, like five and I think Pepper had a kid while Tony was gone, and I think Tony's gonna see, like, he's gonna have a choice: save all of humanity or go back and be with my family. It started the MCU, so end the MCU with him. And I think then Cap's character will kind of go off and retire.
Guys, I mean, this is like the biggest superhero event. Like, this is Lord of the Rings Return of the King for all superhero films. It's a 3-hour-long movie, so anything could happen in this film. We have no idea. We could be completely wrong in our speculations, but I'm excited to see what happens. But guys, that is our discussion for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. What are your guys' answers to these questions, first of all? What is your theory on how Guardians 2 will affect the endgame? Do you have a different theory than us? I love seeing those comments in the comment section, and let us know. And Zach, as always, thank you so much, man, for coming on the channel and joining the Endgame series, man. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows who you are, but those who don't know who Zach is, Zach, where can people find you on your social media?
Well, you can go find me and Groot over on my channel at Zach Pope Reviews.
Sorry. You guys can find me over at Zach Pope Reviews on YouTube and over on Sandwich on Films as well, where we give out advanced movie screens. So if you guys want to check out some movies early, you guys are on the West Coast. I think we do some on the East Coast. I'm not 100% sure on that. Go check it out. Also, I mean, tons of movie reviews, and I'll make sure to see you guys in the end game. Thanks so much, Ryan, for having me again. This was a really great discussion talking about a very underrated film in the MCU.
Look forward to the next episode, which is one of Zach's favorite MCU films, Spider-Man Homecoming. That is up next. And joining me for that is the other Rotten or Fresh champion, Mr. Broken Army, Ren Geekness. Look forward to that episode, guys. It's going to be so much fun. And guys, thank you so much, as always, for watching this episode in the Endgame series. If you guys liked it, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to subscribe to Mr. Zach Pope. His channel link is in the description below, and to this channel as well for more content. And all my social media links are in the description below. Click that notification bell on your way out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!